Chris Mannix covers boxing and, of course, the NBA for Yahoo Sports and The Vertical. Well, we just had Ariel Helwani on, who, of course, covers MMA, and he said it's crazy for anybody to be talking about this possibility of Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather. Where do you stand on this nonsense?
I would completely agree. I mean, this is like a celebrity trying to boost his profile by bragging about somebody he wants to date. It's Mayweather who is trying to remain relevant as his career passes by mentioning McGregor. And McGregor, who certainly has a lot more to gain because of the value of a paycheck that comes with Floyd Mayweather, doing the same. But, Mayweather, Dan, he and his team are probably the most difficult group of people to negotiate with. The second most difficult, I would argue, is probably Dana White with the UFC and his team. So logistically, it doesn't work. Moreover, it would be the most aesthetically displeasing fight that you've ever seen. Conor McGregor has zero boxing skills. He would get completely whitewashed by Floyd Mayweather. And if you want to take it a step further and say, I don't care, the Nevada Commission, I've talked to people in the Nevada Commission, and that's where the fight would probably be in Las Vegas. There are people in that commission who have said, we're not going to sanction this. Why would we sanction a boxing match between the best boxer in the world and a guy that's never boxed before in his life? So people should put this idea out of their heads because it's just never going to happen.
Well, you could, have this in Dubai or something and sanction it there. They could find a place for it. I just think.
But I mean that's even almost unrealistic too, Dan, because when you have fights overseas, unless Dubai puts up $200 million, which I'm skeptical they would ever do. You lose a massive amount on the pay-per-view. Pay-per-views have to be in the U.S. Doesn't necessarily have to be in a specific market, but they have to be in the U.S. to be maximized. I can't imagine this fight, if it ever happened, will go anywhere else but Las Vegas.
Yeah, I did laugh when people say, Conor McGregor, he's a good boxer for an MMA fighter. I'm saying. It's one thing
it's
to
like
be
saying like a good sumo wrestler is a great goaltender for a sumo wrestler. I mean, it doesn't.
Yes.
They don't compute. There's no correlation between an MMA fighter and a professional boxer, and vice versa.
You've been on the road covering the NBA?
Yeah. Just following my Atlanta Hawks, Dan. With,
so
my Dwight Howard.
You're Atlanta Hawks, huh?
All in on Atlanta.
Are you?
I'm writing about them? It's not your old Atlanta Hawks. I'll tell you that much. I mean, the impact Dwight's had there. I mean, it's been noticeable. I mean, they went from being an abysmal offensive rebounding team to one of the best offensive rebounding teams.
Wait,
in the NBA.
we can't be discussing the Hawks. No, we can't. And that's enough.
They're 9-2. They're leading the Eastern Conference.
No, can't do it.
It's Dwight.
Who has
not on Team Dwight? Dwight's a friend of the program.
I had him on last week. I like Dwight.
I know.
Okay. But that's enough talk for the Hawks for this year. Who has a better record at the end of the year, the Timberwolves or the Lakers?
Timberwolves. I think the Wolves are going to get better. I think the Lakers are kind of playing above their heads right now, and they're going to regress. End-of-game situations the first couple of weeks, Dan, have killed the Timberwolves. But if you watch Andrew Wiggins the last week, 33 points per game of his last 5.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the three-point shooting, he's leading the NBA in three-point shooting. That's probably an aberration.
Yes.
But his offensive game has come a long way. And I think they're going to get a lot better at finishing games. And I think they'll be in the playoff hunt at the end of the season, whereas the Lakers, I don't see it.
Who has a more remarkable year, Russell Westbrook Jr. III or James Harden?
I would probably say that's tough. I mean, they're both going to put up ridiculous. I'm going to say Harden because I've been more impressed with what the Rockets have done as a team than I have what Oklahoma City has done. When both these guys, their teams fall off a cliff offensively when they step off the floor, but Oklahoma City has been really bad when Westbrook has to come off the floor. I think Harden's going to have, one of the most staggering point guard type seasons in NBA history, and he'll wind up having a better year.
Thank you, Chris. Safe travels. Thanks for joining us.
You don't want to talk about
no.
Kyle Korver and what he brings. No. And Dennis Schroeder's rise. Dennis Schroeder.
Yes, he has. Yes, and really, it's been incredible.
Bye, Dan.
Thank you, Chris.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.